Hi, my name is Jeremy Hewson. I'm the Executive Director for the Alliance for Low Input Sustainable Turf. The Alliance for Low Input Sustainable Turf is a nonprofit organization that is focused on identifying and promoting varieties that maintain turf quality while requiring fewer inputs, including irrigation, fertilizer, and chemical applications. The A-List is a member organization that includes the industry's most recognized and trusted seed suppliers. In response to market demands and more stringent regulations, A-List members have prioritized selecting, breeding, and producing sustainable varieties as part of a global mission to reduce the management footprint of turfgrass.
So in various places across the country and in other countries, we're seeing new laws come forward that are restricting water use for turf grasses as well as pesticide use. And what the A-List is doing is jumping ahead of that to try and identify grasses that are not going to need as much water or chemical use to still look good and remain green.
Seed producers, sod producers, turf managers, we all want to stay in business. So for us, we have a definite vested interest in moving through and moving towards sustainability.
The A-List has partnered with the country's most respected turfgrass research universities to evaluate both experimental and commercially available germplasm submitted by its members. This data, along with the data from the NTEP trials, is then used to compile a list of approved varieties that show acceptable turf quality with up to 40% less water and little to no fertilizer or chemical use.
So our A-List trial is looking at low input grasses and trying to determine which grasses perform best under low fertility, limited mowing, and no supplemental irrigation, and no additional pesticides. The bluegrasses are so different between each other that they have different strengths and weaknesses, and you don't always get high quality under high maintenance, high quality under low maintenance. It is very specific to the management conditions as to what variety is going to be best.
In fall 2018, we established a new trial. It's a tall fescue trial with the A-List, and basically with that trial, we're looking to see how far we can take those cultivars in terms of low input and still have them look good. In our trial, we are specifically looking for reduced mowing. So every 2 weeks we will mow the plots, but prior to mowing, we will measure the height of every plot in the trial to see how much they're growing. And so, you know, mowing is not water or pesticide use, but it's still using fossil fuels. And so if we can use less fossil fuels because these grasses are not growing as quickly as some of the other grasses that are out there, we're ahead of the game. We're also looking at density and texture and color, all the things that we would normally look for in a variety trial, but we're looking to see these things under the lower inputs.
I think in general, most homeowners are not looking to have a highly manicured lawn. They want it, but they don't want to put the inputs into it. So they want something that can look that way without doing a lot to their lawn. So I think this is where an opportunity we have by doing this A-List work to find those varieties that could be useful in those situations.
The A-List promotes these varieties with educational opportunities and through its members, university cooperators, and industry associations to encourage end users to protect natural resources and reduce costs by selecting and planting better genetics whenever possible.
Many water districts and the Department of Water Resources are looking at a lot of these A-List varieties and turf blends as being moderate water users instead of heavy water users, which makes a world of difference in the amount of turf that a landscape designer or architect can place in a landscape.
This is their administrative campus that they've moved everybody off the Stanford campus up here to Redwood City. And I think it's 4 buildings and a parking structure and quite a bit of open space that you see here. This is all brand new, and part of it is in conjunction with Redwood City and Stanford. You know, they came up with this plan to make this kind of a public space that you can walk through, as well as grounds for the people that work here. The green belt that goes between these buildings and the parking structure and the fitness center, and there's quite a bit of bioswales that take all the runoff from the roofs of the buildings and all the non-permeable surfaces. And then they have quite a bit of the fine fescue mounds just for the green look, and then quite a bit of large open spaces of mowed turf. definitely go towards that, reduced water usage, and pesticides are getting harder and harder to get past, on a job, especially in like the bioswales. You can't use pesticides at all, no herbicides, nothing, because they want to keep that water as clean as possible. In this job, as with many of the commercial sites we do, it's reclaimed water, and it's the reclaimed water here is different than the reclaimed water in San Jose. This is a newer facility, and the quality isn't as good, but these, as you can see, these grasses do well in it. So that's another thing. There's some plants and trees that don't do well in reclaimed water, and these grasses will tolerate it. I'm an advocate for using this product because a lot of the landscape architects, they wind up trying to use California natives like sticky monkey flower or Douglas iris, and these things are beautiful in nature, but we'll plant fields of them and they die right away because they just don't tolerate artificial water. They grow well out in the wild, but they're not. A lot of these California natives don't do that well, and I think this tall fescue is a good alternative to that because of the way it's so easy to maintain and grow so well.
As part of the greater turf community, the A-List is committed to promoting smart turfgrass management, and that begins with planting varieties that do more with less. For more information and a list of approved varieties, visit our webpage or contact us. The A-List is committed to covering the earth with high-quality, low-input varieties.